Chapter 1. You are listening at FameTV.info. Translator. Nyo-iwo Studio Editor. Nyo-iwo Studio. The Great Xia Empire, Qingzhou City, Qingyang High School. After a day of martial arts training, the exhausted students had just washed the sweat and fatigue off their bodies and returned to their classrooms. They planned to rest during the next general knowledge classes. Su Lingjuan's best friend, Guo Zheng, suddenly rushed in and shouted at him while he was resting in his seat, "Su, do you want a wife?" Su Lingjuan's expression did not change. In response to his spontaneous friend's shocking words, he simply nodded and replied, "Sure, if you have one, bring her to me." He had just finished his martial arts practice. Even though he had just bathed, the heat in his body had turned into beads of sweat that seeped out onto his skin, adding a touch of sunshine to Su Lingjuan's handsome face. Even Guo Zheng, who was a straight man, couldn't help but feel his heart skip a beat. Damn, wasn't this guy too good? Looking, good lord, he would rather be straight than gay. Guo Zheng hypnotized himself a few times before he said in a speechless manner, "Do you still need me to get you a wife? You don't even need to say anything and a wife will come to you on her own accord." "Really?" "Of course it's true," Guo Zheng said seriously. "This is first-hand news. I just saw it with my own eyes in the principal's office. A beautiful young female teacher transferred to our school today. She's extremely beautiful. When the principal asked her which class she wants to teach, she directly asked which class is Su Lingjun in, saying that she'll teach whichever class he's in." As he spoke, Guo Zheng's gaze swept across Su Lingjuan's righteous and handsome face, continuing resentfully, "Damn it, so handsome people can really get whatever they want. Even the female teacher can't wait to get close to you. Is that teacher surnamed Wang?" Su Lingjun asked. Guo Zheng asked curiously, "How did you know?" "Sigh, as expected, she's here, huh?" Su Lingjun sighed bitterly, and a melancholic look appeared on his face. "Why, do you know her?" Su Lingjun sighed, "She's an old enemy." "What? She wants to harm you?" "In a sense, yes," Su Lingjun said slowly. "She wants to marry me and then let me inherit her family's tens of billions of assets. She also wants to give birth to a few of my children. All in all, she wants to use money and kinship to tie me up, corrupt me, and make me into a useless person who only knows how to enjoy life and die a mediocre man." Guo Zheng. The only thought on Guo Zheng's mind was, "F***ck, if you don't act pretentious, we can still be good friends." On the other hand, Su Lingjun sighed wistfully as he looked at Guo Zheng with a sincere face that seemed to read, "Everything I said is true, why don't you believe me?" Soon, break time ended. It was time for class. When the new teacher walked up to the teaching desk in her calm and graceful steps, the male students who were as tired as dead pigs due to the practical martial arts class instantly let out excited wolf whistles. The teacher had charming eyes and a beautiful appearance. Her smooth long hair had been tied into a ponytail, and she was wearing clean white shoes, paired with slim jeans and a shirt, which added a touch of purity to her temperament. However, when coupled with her cold expression, the contradiction made her even more attractive. Beautiful women were already eye-catching, to begin with. Coupled with her identity as a teacher, it made these young boys who were at the age of being interested in romance, feel an unknown amount of longing for her. "Hello, everyone. My name is Wang Qingya. Because your general knowledge teacher has gone back to his hometown to get married, I will be in charge of your general knowledge classes for the time being," she said lightly. Her pair of beautiful eyes never left Su Lingjun, who was sitting at the back. Su Lingjun sighed faintly. As expected, she was here to corrupt him. After school, Su Lingjun rejected his best friend's invitation to go and unearth Wang Qingya's background. He carried his school bag on his back and headed home alone. However, he had just exited the school gates when he stopped in his tracks as he saw Wang Qingya, who was waiting at the school gates. She was still in her youthful attire. She stood there quietly. Her straight posture made her appear even more graceful, her legs long and slender. She seemed to have been standing there for a while. When she saw Su Lingjun, she pursed her lips and said, "I was waiting for you." "Yes, I can tell. Teacher Wang, do you need something from me? What did you call me? Wang Qingya's delicate brows furrowed. The temperature around Su Lingjun suddenly dropped by a few degrees. He could clearly feel the biting cold killing intent. Su Lingjun hesitated for a moment before calling out, Sister Yaya. Wang Qingya's icy cold expression eased up and immediately turned warm as she said gently, I've come especially for you this time. Su Lingjun smiled bitterly and said, Sister Yaya, I've already said that I don't want to go back with you. Wang Qingya's delicate brows furrowed. She said, this was arranged for you by your parents before they died. Uncle and aunt's last words were to ask us to take good care of you. Why don't you listen to anyone's advice? Su Lingjun smiled awkwardly and said, well, I'm living quite well on my own. Sister Yaya, you don't have to put yourself through so much just for me. That's right, the girl in front of Su Lingjun who was a few years older than him, strictly speaking, she was his fiancée. Wang Qingya was truly someone favored by God. At such a young age, she was already a talented student of the 4 great universities. She was outstanding in talent and also came from a wealthy family. She could be said to be fair, rich, and beautiful. Other than her common name, she did not have any flaws. However, this flaw was also her father's fault. It had nothing to do with her. However, Su Lingjun hadn't expected the Wang family to have been so faithful. The two families were originally good friends. After many years, one had become prosperous and became a billionaire, while the other passed away many years ago, leaving their only son alone in this world. However, not only did the Wang family not break off the engagement, but they were even very determined to take care of Su Lingjun for the rest of his life. They even planned to hand over the billions of family assets to him after the two of them got married. At the same time, Wang Qingya's father, Wang Tiancheng, had carefully taken care of Su Lingjun's self-esteem during the process. He expressed that not only did Su Lingjun not have to marry into the Wang family, but he didn't need to change his surname either. His child would also have his surname, and the only requirement he had for him was that he must choose to save Wang Qingya in case of a difficult birth. In a way, Wang Tiancheng was impeccable. He was just like his biological father, though they were not related by blood. If the wealthy families in ancient times were all like this, how many melodious love stories would there be in the books? It has already come to this point. Are you still not giving up? Wang Qingya took a step forward and said, your current cultivation should have been stuck at stage 7 of the body. Tempering tier for a long time, right? At your age, such cultivation is considered top-notch in the school. It should be enough for you to get a suitable civil servant job after the Longmen examination. You'd be able to take up the job after training and lead a peaceful life with no worries about food and clothing. But if you want to enter the North Xuanwu University, you are still a long way off. If one didn't enter the 4 great martial arts universities, one simply wouldn't be able to make any achievements in martial arts. Su Lingjun understood the hidden meaning in Wang Qingya's words. She wasn't looking down on him, rather, she was telling him the truth. If he wanted to walk on the path of martial arts, it wouldn't work. The current blue planet was no longer the blue planet of the past. Cultivation was no longer a matter of one person. It was related to one's wealth, one's partner, one's cultivation techniques, and one's property. Without money, one would not be able to buy the various materials needed for cultivation. Without connections, one would not be able to buy high-grade cultivation techniques. Without status, one would not be able to hire a famous teacher. If one looked at the influential figures in Qinyang High School, which one of them was not wealthy? Which one of them did not have a family with a long history? Since they were young, they had been drinking spiritual liquid and bone-strengthening potions, as well as soaking in spirit herbs baths. Their talent was higher, they were richer, and they even worked harder than the average person. With this, no matter how hard the children of the poor worked, how could their years of hard work surpass the generational accumulation of others? Sister Yaya, everything you said is right, but I still want to give it a try. The Longmen examination is just around the corner, and I don't want to give up at this time. Su Lingjun knew that Wang Qingya was indeed thinking for him, and everything she said was right. However, after 2 lifetimes as a human, he had been born into this mystical world. The blue planet had ascended to the extraordinary universe due to the recovery of spiritual energy. Within the universe, every planet represented a culture and race, and there were tens of thousands of races. Having suddenly barged into this universe, the blue planet that was an outsider was naturally attacked by many civilizations. Fortunately, the martial arts culture flourished on the blue planet. Su Lingjun had once witnessed a martial artist fly into the sky and burrow into the ground. With a flip of his palm, the martial artist had killed a giant beast that was 5 to 6 meters tall with a single palm strike. That he had also witnessed an extremely strong warrior carry a dilapidated building and acted as the foundation, allowing the people in the building to escape safely. Power was so close to him. Besides, in the past few days, he had just awakened a cheat. Su Lingjun glanced at the lower right corner of his view. Source value 4,782 points. Without a doubt, this was the gift he had obtained after transmigrating 2 worlds. Such a thing was commonly known as a cheat. If he went into business and inherited billions of family assets without even trying, he wouldn't be able to rest in peace if he died. Wang Qingya sighed faintly and said, "I knew you wouldn't give up so easily. Since you want to give it a try, sure. I've already discussed it with Dad. If you can successfully enter the North Xuanwu University, then the Wang family will use all of our funds to invest in you, allowing you to advance faster on the path of a martial artist." Coincidentally, the Wang family's business is getting bigger and bigger, and we also need a martial artist who can uphold the assets. But if it doesn't work out, Su Lingjun said, if it doesn't work out, I'll follow you back to the Wang family and inherit the Wang family's hundreds of millions of assets. I'll also stay put and have children with you. He thought to himself, Sister Yaya is obviously worried that I'll be depressed when I fail the Longmen examination, which is why she specially came to accompany me as a teacher, right? Her studies should also be at a critical moment. Su Lingjun was greatly moved. Sister Yaya may seem cold, but she really did care for him. Besides, Wang Tiancheng had also taken a step back further and asked for even less. They treated him with such kindness. Su Lingjun felt that if he didn't know how to appreciate the favor, it would only be natural that he would be kicked to death by 100,000 horses. A slightly bashful look appeared in Wang Qingya's eyes, but she quickly returned to normal. She nodded and said, "Okay, I'll go back and pack my luggage. I'll move in with you tomorrow night." Read latest chapters at Wuxia World. Site only. Sister Yaya, you don't love me, do you? Su Lingjun looked at Wang Qingya's pretty and delicate face and asked seriously, "Don't you feel resentful having to marry me?" Wang Qingya thought for a moment, and a hint of fear suddenly appeared in her eyes. She asked softly, "Have you experienced death?" Without waiting for Su Lingjun to answer, she said bluntly, "I have experienced it. When Uncle Sanduo held me in his arms and let himself be burned to death by the flames, I had thought to myself that since Uncle Sanduo was willing to protect me like this, I would make his son happy and keep him safe even if it takes the rest of my life. I know your feelings for me are only sisterly, but it's okay. When we get married in the future, I can even help you find some lovers, just keep it from Dad." Su Lingjun suddenly felt as if failing the exam was not as terrible as he thought. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.